Could Harley be bringing back one of their best-selling bikes? They're releasing it in Australia, but let's see what that bike is. Hello and welcome to Road Rush Nation. I'm Terry, your host here, and thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. If you're a member of the nation, thank you so much. You have no idea what it means to me. And if you'd like to be a member of the nation, it's free. All you need to do is hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. So let me tell you, I was pretty excited to see this notification from an Australian dealership. I have a lot of members that are from Australia, and I always like to keep up on what's going on. I also have friends down there. Anyway, I follow Geelong Harley Davidson just to see what's going on, different things that can be happening in the world. And they recently put up on their Facebook, hey, the X350 and the X500 is going to be coming out in Australia. And I went, you got to be kidding me. This is great news. There's quite a few reasons why I feel it's great. But let's take a look at the bikes first. They'll be real familiar to you if you've taken the Harley Rider course. So let's go take a look at the bikes. So I scooted over to the Harley Davidson Australia website to check out the bikes and to see what these are all about. Now remember, this is not the US, this is Australia's website. We have the 350 and the X500, both of the X models is what they are. And I will tell you, these are going to fill a niche. What I learned earlier is that the X350 was released in China earlier this year and has had a great acceptance from the public. It was also in India, and everybody has loved these bikes. So let's take a deeper dive into each one. First, we'll look at the X350. Here is the X350. I have to say it's a pretty sharp-looking bike. So let's take a deeper dive into this bike, and let's scroll down and see what options we have. So it comes in a pearl white, a supersonic silver, dramatic orange, and your dramatic black. When you look at this price, just remember that that is Australia's price. So that's one thing I was looking at to see as far as filling a niche and being affordable for a lot of people. I did a quick conversion just on that price. For the US dollar, this would make it about $5,500 is a conversion rate. Now, who knows what Harley would charge in the US for that, but that's about what that conversion rate from Australian dollars to US. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the bike. I have to say, I really like the look of it. It's 353cc powertrain that it's got with a liquid cool, and it's liquid cooled, so that makes it great. And you have a narrower seat. So, for the folks that like to do stunts on the smaller bikes, these would be great to be able to do those kind of things. I'm not into the stunting. There are people that are. Great. Let's get into the dimensions. Now remember, again, this is Australia, so I tried to convert a couple of things in here. But basically the biggest thing, and you'll see your ground clearance, that's another thing, is this bike sits lower. So a lot of people who are, let's say, vertically challenged will be able to be flat-footed on these bikes, both of them, between the 350 and the 500. This is the one thing I wanted to look at, was the weight, because that becomes a big thing for a lot of folks, is the weight. And I did it in the running weight. So to convert the 195 kilograms, that's about 430 pounds. And your average sporty razor weighs about 500. So that's quite a bit different. For those that might have an issue with a heavier bike, this is an option there. So you'll see that a lot of the key features on this is it's got that flat track styling, street riding performance, lightweight and agile. It's already 2-up ready, which is great. And this is one of the other big things that I liked, is it's got the all LED lighting. It's already designed in it, which we all complain that Harley doesn't put all LED lighting in the new bikes. Let's take a look at the 500. So here is the X500. So if you want just a little bit bigger. Now, this bike is probably going to be real familiar for those that have taken the rider training course. This is the size bike that they have. And Harley, just a few years back, stopped selling the 500 in the United States. And I will tell you, it really created a void. at the time, our daughter had recently taken the writer's course and she wanted to get a 500. We looked all over. You couldn't find them. And she still hasn't gotten a bike because she doesn't want anything too big. She doesn't have a lot of space. And then you also have the issue of price. If we could have found a 500 for her, I know she'd be out riding now. So maybe if they bring this back to the United States, which it sounds like they are because they're moving that direction, this would be perfect for her. And it's a sharp-looking bike. So let's scroll down and get some details on it. First of all, let's see the colors you get. You've got the pearl white, the supersonic silver, and I predict the dramatic orange is going to be the most popular. And then you have the dramatic black. Again, this is Australia's pricing, so don't forget that. But I did the conversion, and for the US, this would be approximately $7,400. So it's a little cheaper than the sporty, and it gives you some different options. Also, again, for those that like to do stunts, you could adapt very easily on this bike. A lot easier to do stunts on something like this than it would be the sporty, because the sporty is just the way it's built. You've got to do a lot of converting and adjusting for that. So let's go down and check out this bike. Like I said, I think it's a smart looking bike. Again, this helps those that are vertically challenged to, we all complain, I can't get flat footed on these things. And there's nothing worse than to be at a stoplight and the bike's tipping and it's going over. You're not stopping it, whether it's 430 pounds or it's 850 or 900, it's going over. So let's check out some key features. They've got a 2-in-1 exhaust. It's got your ergonomics. It's got mid-foot controls and a mid-rise handlebar. Again, this is a 500cc powertrain that's on this, liquid cooled, adjustable front and rear suspension, which is nice because that is also the feature on the X350 I discovered. Again, I went into the dimensions. This is Australia's. Don't forget, this is Australia. So when you see millimeters and so on, that's what that is. And if you see this running order of kilograms, that is not pounds. That would be approximately 458 pounds is what this bike weighs, which to me, that's a reasonable weight for a bike. It's still heavy compared to some of the other smaller bikes by competitors. Not a bad weight. I'm hoping that Harley is smart enough to bring these things to the U.S. We are getting into the point where a lot of people are looking for the smaller bikes. With the economy, price-wise, interest rates, and so on, it's easier for someone to get into one of these bikes. And not everybody wants the big baggers. Yes, I have a bagger, totally love it, but there's other folks that have a different style of riding, and I think this would fit a great niche. Also, for people that may be living in apartments, this is easier to park and store. If you were like on a ground level apartment, you could roll this up, and if you had a little patio section, and keep it there, because that's one of the big problems when you're in an apartment, people stealing bikes, but you could have it in a more secure area. Or if you had a small shed, something, you could lock this up a lot easier. I just see it filling a void. They push it for the city. I get it, because that's where it would be so versatile and would really help out a lot of folks who are trying to commute back and forth. If you've got a lot of traffic, this can get you in and out of it real easy between the lanes, as long as you're in a state that allows that. And so I really hope that Harley brings these two bikes, the X350 and the X500, to the United States and bring it back, because they're going to fill a void, and I think they'll sell a lot of them. Now, there's a couple reasons I think this would be very beneficial. Harley had been selling the 500s and just stopped selling those in the United States a few years ago. And really, I think when they did that, they lost a big gap for a lot of riders. Yes, they're great bikes for introductory riders, but they're also great bikes for those that are maybe in a smaller area, have a smaller area that they can keep a bike in. Cost-wise, you can set these bikes up for stunt bikes. They're more nimble than the Sportster, let's face it, because of weight and so on. It also gives people an opportunity to start in on the lower level as far as cost-wise and maybe trade up as things get better. And the economy right now, let's face it, sucks. And so for a lot of people, you got to go with what you can afford. And that's why the used bike market is so big right now, because all the manufacturers have just priced themselves so high on the bikes, it really makes it difficult. Plus you have interest rates and so on that the people are competing with. These bikes, the X350 and the X500, I think are going to really fill a gap. So I'm hoping, keeping my fingers crossed, they will come to the United States. But if not, you folks down in Australia, make sure if you're looking for that smaller bike, you want something nimble, these are great bikes also to take with your RV. We have a toy hauler. Yes, we use it for our baggers, but if we had a smaller bike like the 500, it'd be great to take along on short trips or trips where we didn't want to necessarily take the big bagger, but you want a small bike to just kind of tool around on. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you found this interesting, and let's do a little more research and go out there and find out what's happening. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not a member of the nation, want to be one, we'd love to have you. And remember, it's free. All you need to do is hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for stopping by, and hope to catch you next week.